All right, Trez, hello. Good afternoon. I've decided to do the watch list today. It's going to be a little bit um, with my schedule tomorrow, probably meaning that the watch list video would, be too rushed or not being able to sort of be completed. So, what I want to do, I guess, in order of from highest priority to least priority. So the Aussie dollar. All right. This pair has been pushing higher. If you look at the Aussie index against the US dollar, so the US index is actually had a pretty down day yesterday. Aussie was pretty strong. The Kiwi is also strong too. Like, I mean, if we're just talking yeah. And if we go to the daily, I've forgotten about the Kiwi actually. I don't really trade the Kiwi as much. I just find myself, if I'm drawn too many places, I miss entries, and it's a little frustrating as well, especially if they're like ones you should be getting. So the Kiwi actually looks like it wants to break out a little bit as well. The entry would have been probably on that candle. Just ignore the fibs, guys, for now, just on the chart. But definitely the Kiwi is probably the Thursday entry would have been more appropriate. Well, it would have been Friday morning is when that candle closes for me where I am in the world. So let's go to the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar looking interesting. Sort of holding up somewhat as well. It's not a bad end to the week. It's gonna be tough for it to sort of break through. The high there was 65.70 pretty much. So there's not a lot of room to go, and the stop loss placement is going to have to be like 30 to 40 pips. So it's not really a great risk to reward ratio. But if it does go a little higher on Monday, I'm not going to take that, but I will look then for a sell trade. So I want that to be just looking at the chart now. I'm sort of done with longing it, unless the main catalyst though to encourage a long for me is just the COVID-19 situation. So compared to the US, it's obviously a lot more favorable. And the US is still it's getting better, but Australia really is, especially in my state that I'm in here in Western Australia, it's very under control. So we haven't opened everything up again, but there's definitely chatter that it's a staggered approach and that it's looking positive that that's going to be taking place. Let's go to the Euro Aussie now. Euro Aussie is interesting. I have been looking to take another long on this, not anymore though, obviously with the sell-off, but it's bottomed out. We'll see. If it wants to make another push higher, or maybe not. Obviously, the euro is under a lot of pressures right now with some pretty negative news. Aussie yen, though, interestingly, did have a bounce as well on the 4-hour time frame. Aussie yen, it's interesting too. Not quite topped out from previous highs. Looking around here, so the high there looks to be around 69.94, so maybe 70 cents we'd look to. So again, taking along now wouldn't be the best risk reward ratio. Now I want to look at gold too. I briefly touched upon gold in my previous video I put out a few hours ago, and okay, so gold did have sell. It was, I mean, when a candle like this arises, you've got to understand that there's probably going to be profit taking, especially in these current conditions where there's a lot of uncertainty. And well, frankly, the stock market is rallying, but what is it fueled by? Stimulus. But there's still so much uncertainty, and it only takes a couple companies, big companies, to file for bankruptcy, and then people are going to start freaking out in the US because a lot of people borrow a lot and they throw it in the stock market. It's more of a gamble, and they can't afford to lose money because they're borrowing money. So what I would say is just show caution. I mean, gold could push higher again as well. A lot of analyst reports I've read suggest that 2,000 is achievable by the end of the year. That it's just going to be a rough ride, getting there. I believe it can do that, but it's just anything can happen though. So by the looks of it, though, you wouldn't be, making a huge trade on that. You would be just playing the ranges because that's what it's been doing. Maybe a buy trade is possible here, but I just like to see what happens Monday, and then probably into the Tuesday session, Tuesday night maybe. And look at getting into something potentially. Euro USD is interesting. It's bounced. There's a little bit of resistance there at 108.89. So to me, it's too sideways to really want to take a trade on this. I think I might touch upon the pattern. So when it's like that, I'm going to leave that. We don't even really need to talk about that. It's just, the move low was made. It's bounced. It's looking at that candle. It looks to me like it wants to go lower, but it's not clear enough. Pound. Same again. It's unclear. Sort of looks more long, but there's not much upside there. And it's just like, I'm not really in a position to be wanting to buy or sell that. Pound yen is holding up, but looks like it wants to sort of go lower. The yen has sort of been weakening a little bit though, so that's something to pay attention to. Risk sentiment seems to be shifting on again, but come Monday, you have to pay attention to that because it can really change daily. It's not like we've had a surge of a few days. It's really not like that. It's like one day, maybe half a session, and then in the next half of that session, it will end, risk off to end the second day. So that's something to pay attention to. Just bring up the S&P 500. That's sort of what I mean. It's like, it's a bit messy. It's the bounce is on though. Wait and see. But okay, guys. So the main play. Look, okay. If we see some great news out of Australia, we could see push higher. If not, it's just gonna just mull around here and just probably do not much. Maybe even sink a bit lower. So I'm gonna leave that for now. I'll conclude the video. It's one of these things where we have a rough idea of what we're looking at, but come Monday into the New York session, we'll have a clearer idea of what the markets want to do. Typically Monday is, well, it will probably hang around Friday's highs is what it's been doing normally. And then we'll see how the whole session plays out and go from there, whether or not it's risk on and what gold's doing, just what level of confidence the market has. And then if it's looking pretty favorable, you have some, I'd like a catalyst to come out as well. Maybe weekend no cases Australia wide would be pretty good. And then you want to see how the market reacts to that. And then the US, it's a very bad situation right now, especially in the politics of the whole thing and how it's just no one wants to deal with it, and they're blaming everyone else, and it's just like very unsettled. And Donald Trump's making threats about more trade tariffs, and it's just like that's going to help the Aussie dollar actually. So, but we'll see, guys. Obviously, it's a very dynamic situation, and more updates to come. But this is just the general guide of what I'm looking at. I probably won't be checking the charts tomorrow, but definitely Monday. Until then, guys, bye for now, and happy trading.